Now, you might ask yourself to say, okay, what is this expense module? And what does that have to do with me? I hope by now, with all the emails and especially the last 2 emails yesterday, you know that you are being invited to this schedule. You scheduled to this um, training only because that you have a P card, or during the past 12 months you requested and received the reimbursement for some kind of expense you pay out of pocket for the city. Okay, this is the only reason you're being invited. But most importantly, I hope you are a purchase card holder, because it is crucial for you to get this training before July 1. Okay, we mainly will be talking about how do you create expense report and expense module. And that will actually taking care of the P card coding and the travel expense reimbursement request and the travel expense report. And then we'll spend little time on the cash advance, if anybody will be travel for city, and also expense report, how to get them approved once you submit them. And the very lastly, we will go over a little bit about manage your bank account, and then some question and answer at the end. Okay. Um, before July 1, we basically thought of expense report as the specifically for the people who travel. We call that travel expense report. But now, starting July 1, we have to change how we think about expense report. It's actually covers 3 categories of things in expense module. One is P card, one is expense report, business expense reimbursement, and also travel. Okay, and if you're a P card holder, you are familiar with this website, SunTrust. We're still going there to code your things and to prove things on there, but then this is going away. This is the reason why it's so crucial for you to receive the training now, so you know what to do come July 1. SunTrust website we will not be using it anymore. You will still be using it up to June 30th. Any charges you put on your card, you must go on this website to get it coded, get approved on or before June 30th. So finance can import our information into the EBIS and get them processed for FY21. But all the charges you're going to be put on your card after June 25th, you will go directly to the new module, expense module in the Oracle Cloud. And then you will be using the expense report I'm showing you today to process these new charges. Okay. Now, right now, we only changed where we're coding the P card charges. Could someone please mute your mic? Because okay. Again, I'm asking you to please mute your mic. Thank you. All right. Right now we're only changing the way we are coding the P cards. Anything relating to the P card policies have not changed. So if you have any question or you need a reminder what to do, or something related to the P card policy, please still go to the e-portal, and under the purchasing department folder, you're going to find that purchasing card folder. Click into that, and then you're going to get all the information you want to see. All right. And if you have any questions,
Eleanor, can you hear me?
yes.
We can't hear you.
I am speaking as loud as I can. It's nothing on my side preventing me from, getting very close to the laptop. This is as close as I can get to it.
I hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. Maybe it's a connection somewhere else, because I am in City Hall, so the internet connection here should be better than my home. Okay, I'll try to speak as loud as I can. Hopefully this helps a little bit. Okay. Next thing, this is a travel expense report. We haven't seen this for a while, simply because we have not been traveling. But then, unless you have one that you need to file for FY21, you're not going to see this again, because we'll be doing this paperless in the expense module. Also, this local business expense log, if you have requested the money reimbursement from city, you've seen this, you completed this. Now, if you still have some outstanding requests that you have not submitted, please submit it before July 6th, so we can get processed and paid by July 15th. That one's still going through payroll. Anything else will be FY22. We will be processing your reimbursement using expense module, which I will show you a little later. Okay. Now, I must introduce you to this new thing called Poeta. We have 3 new modules in the cloud. Expense, which is what we're here today. Accounts receivable, which is what we used to do when we do the collection report. And then the third one, projects and grants. We call it PPM. Within the PPM, all the charges needs to be coded to using the financial segments of the Poeta. P is a project number, and organization, expenditure type, task number, and award. I know it's if you have not involved in any PPM module training, you will not understand what this is. That's okay. We're gonna go through a little bit, but just remember that without correct information in each one of this financial segment, the expenses to the grants, to the capital projects cannot be correctly posted in PPM. So it's very crucial to get this correctly when you're entering any kind of charges for grants and capital projects. Okay, little bit recap on the accounting stream. We are familiar with the fund department cost center account, and some of us know work location activities because not everybody uses them. But a future 1 and future 2, we have not been using it for the past 10 years. But starting in the cloud, we will be using those 2. The last 2 segments, we're using turn it on, use future 1 for the project, which is tying directly to this P in the Poeta. Okay, and then the last segment, the future 2, now it's changing to offer. Unless you're dealing with submitting the budget for the department, you're probably not going to use that. But just be aware, right now, all segments are turned on. Okay, I do want to introduce you to the e-portal for the Oracle. Okay, let me show you this. I think everybody should at least try to go on the e-portal to get some of the information you need on some of the news. Oh, please mute your mic. Unless you're talking to me, ask me a question, please mute your mic. Thank you. All right, when you log on to your e-portal, go to the Oracle Cloud, and you should see lots of good information over here, okay? And in yesterday's email, you've been directed to here for you to retrieve the training material, okay? Right now, I tried it yesterday. I would click onto expense module, and this particular training material uploaded here is not correct. It's a wrong file, has to do with the training the trainer. I have requested them to remove this one and put the correct one on here. So far, they have not done that yet. But in today's training meeting invite, you should see attachment of the training material right now we are going over. I strongly recommend you please go to that meeting invite, download that training material because you will need it. I do not expect you to know everything what I will show you today because you do need something to reference back to later on. Okay, so please go there and download that. Later on, after everything is settled, corrected, this is a place where the correct training material plus the recording of a training session will be uploaded. I suspect for all the modules you see here. So definitely, probably give another week or so. This site is where you go to find the training material and video recording. And not just for expense, of course, for rest of the other modules too. So I just want you to be aware of where to find this. It's on ePortal under the Oracle Cloud. Okay. Okay. Also, another thing is you do need a place to log in to the Oracle Cloud to play for now. We do have a UAT session set up right now. That's where we all are testing and doing the training, and recommending you to click onto it and to look around in your own login. Okay. Actually, if you go to Oracle Cloud, you're going to find in the middle of the page, you're going to find this box that's acceptance phase login. Click on that. That will take you to the UAT session where.
Yeah. Yeah. But now, where you say,
Okay, is that a question for me? Could you repeat that? Okay, maybe not.
how did you get that?
Okay, if you have a question for me, you can repeat your question. Otherwise, please turn off your microphone so we won't be hearing other noises. Thank you. Okay. Just to show you, okay, I'll go ahead and log into the Oracle Cloud to show you what will you be seeing. Okay, first of all, click onto the company sign on. Once you click on the link,
He's got his door locked, so he must
your
be
own
Okay. Oh, here.
your own built-in your sign-on ID and also your password has been put in here. So if you just click on that, it will take you to UAT. UAT just means user acceptance testing. It's an instance that we are all testing in. And of course, we also invite you to go test, do some testing of your own to see everything is what I'm showing you. Okay. When you first get in here, you're going to see on the left side, top, there's a 3 bar. Okay, that's actually a quick way for you to get to switch between your modules, whichever responsibility you have been assigned. Okay, and the seal, click on the seal, actually will bring you back to the home page. Okay, it's almost no matter where you are within the cloud. And the search, of course, search whatever you want in the among all modules. This is a home key. Well, it does the same thing as the seal, take you back to home. And the star is something you save your favorites, so it's easier for you to retrieve information that you just did yesterday. Flag, this is the watch list. And notification is the one that we're going to pay close attention to, especially if you are a prover and you have to prove somebody else's expense report or somebody else's requisition. As a prover, you need to pay attention to that bell. And of course, everybody going to have a little initial and in a white circle, and down arrow will take you to other places, but more specifically, that's where you use the sign out. Okay. Okay, while we're at home, we are always, when you are trying to process your P card or making reimbursement request, the only place you go is under the Me tab and click on expenses. Okay, It will take you to the expense module. You're going to see on the left-hand side, there's some choices you can have. Top one is expense report. Mainly, we're going to spend most of our time in there. The second little option for you to pick is approval. We won't use much of that. The third one is a cash advance. Very few people actually utilize that because we sort to recommend you to use your personal credit card to pay for your meals, and then when you come back after your trip, so you can settle your trip right away, and you're going to get the reimbursement. But for some people who do not have a personal credit card and they do need to request a cash advance before their travel, this page where you come to request a cash advance. We will go over there shortly. And the fourth one is authorization. This is say you about to go on a trip and you want someone to prove your trip. Actually, in our travel policy many years ago, we have already done away with authorization. So it's not a must have when you travel, but each individual department can request their employees to submit such a request. But this is where you come to request authorization. But this authorization will only go so far, will not reach all the way to the finance department. It will only be approved by your supervisor, and then it will come back to you. Okay, and the last one, this is, we won't be using the trips. Okay, let's go into the expense report. Okay, if you are a P card holder, when you log into expense and then click onto expense report tab, you're gonna come down a little bit, and you're gonna see the charges down. These charges are okay. I don't personally have a P card, okay, but I do want to show you what the P card charges look like. So let me log out of my own sign-on and then log in with libraries Natalie. I need to get Natalie's permission to use her sign-on so I can show you what you're supposed to be seeing. Okay, this is Natalie's sign-on, and as you see, this is the home page. It's always default down to me. You need to click on the expenses, and then go to the expense report, the very first folder. And when you logged in, you're gonna see down below, each transaction is populated here, and always will say card 5119. That's the last 4 digits per P card. And all the transactions will be populated here, like I said, including the refunds. Okay, one thing you do need to keep in mind is that you need to process your P card charges in a very timely manner. I believe the P card P card policy published by purchasing department did say that you need to recommended you process your P card charges once a week. That's a very good thing to keep up, because in this module, anything over 30 days, if you have not processed that, you cannot process anything else. So you need to make sure things get processed correctly on time, okay? And you should always start at the bottom. That's where you go get the earliest, the oldest, the charges, okay? Okay, so right now, I'm just gonna say, okay, pretending that this is, a few days later after I charge these, and I want to code them. Okay, let's just code 2 of them. I can click on, you can either click on the box and then create expense report. See, it really remembers how many have you clicked. So if you select which ones you want to process now, you can create expense report. And those 2 charges will be bring to this new page. Okay, see, those two are the ones I just selected. Now, the very first box you see is the purpose. It is very important that for you to type in for the very first time the correct description for the purpose line. There should be 3 categories only. One is P card transactions. Another one is the business expense reimbursement. The third one is travel. Right now, please ignore the tuition reimbursement and the test. These are the ones that we were doing testing. But then I just want you to remember only do 3, please. That helps us on the back end when your supervisor review your expense report, and also for the finance department to review the expense report coming in, because we get quite a lot. And we have different people reviewing different kind of things. So we definitely only want to see the correct category on the purpose line. Okay, so the good thing is after you input the description in there, the ones you want, it will automatically populate right here. So if you just click on it, I've been using those 3, so I can always just, no need to enter it again. Just make sure you do it correctly the first time, okay? Next thing I need to remind you is the payment method. Please select electronic. Although there is this option for check, don't do that, because that means the reimbursement go to you will be on the check, which means you have to go to the bank. You have to make a collect, you have to deposit, all that good stuff. We prefer you use electronic because it's a lot quicker for everybody, okay? And of course, the MasterCard, that's not for us to use, not for employee. Actually, it's just paying the MasterCard payment to them. Okay, because we are processing those 2 charges on the P card, naturally you're going to see this line says employer pays card issuer this dollar amount. If we are really processing requesting the reimbursement for ourselves, then we're going to see the lines, another line here says employer will pay you certain dollar amount. Right now we're not seeing that because we're not requesting money for ourselves, right? Okay, there's 2 lines. Okay, that's just gonna process this first one. If you move your mouse to the date, you will notice it's a link. So we can click onto the link. Okay, another page comes up. All right, the template. If you click on the template, you're gonna see 4 lines. No, let's pretending you don't see those 2 lines. This will be removed once we're in production. Okay, there are 4 templates, but actually there's 2 kinds. First kind is expense report template. These has to do with account, just regular original account template. The third one, the fourth one has to do with project and the grants, and it involves something I just told you about, POATA, because when you are really charging something to the projects and the grants, you must utilize third and the fourth template, which is dealing with project and grants. Okay, the reason we have 1 and 2 is because each of the expense type can only hold 250 expense lines, and we have more than 400. That's why our AST team divided the expense lines using template 1, template 2. So say if I test it out, template 1, I select that, and then I go to the type, which means expense account number type. Okay, you're gonna see the expense lines with description without account numbers. Let's start with A all the way through L. Okay, and then if I go back and switch to template number 2, you will get a warning telling you switching. That's okay, just click on the yes, because I mean to do that. We go to type again, you're going to see actually the description start with M all the way to Z. Okay. Okay. Right now, let's just say I am going to use template number 2, and we're going to select something we're buying. Of course, the dollar amount will be there, and this is a personal amount. I really don't see a reason why we'll be using this, because it is prohibited for P card holder to charge P card, using P card to charge any personal item. So you should not be using this. It will always remain 0. Okay, noticing here the count section. It's populating a counting string with your salary default to a fund, department, and cost center. And this account number 712110, that has to do with the expense type you just selected. Okay, so most likely you, after you made a selection here, you won't change it here. But say, Natalie, you click on this to get the details, okay? See, Natalie works in central office, but sometimes she might purchase something for different branch, if that's the case, and she needs to come here and make changes. Okay, she will come here and use the drop down arrow and use the search. Click on the search, and say we're not sure which one. You can just type in first few the letters, the numbers, and then click on the search, and it should pull up the ones that close to you, because all the library cost centers all start with A42 something. Okay, say this one we are going to charge to South Chattanooga branch. Make sure you, when you make a selection, make sure you put a cursor on it. Click. Wait until it turns blue before you click on OK. Say if you leave your cursor up here, you're thinking you're going to select one of those, but you have not clicked yet, you will not take it. So make sure it turns on blue before you click on OK. Okay, now looking at everything looks okay. We approve what we just selected, so we'll click on OK. And this accounting string will be corrected to the new cost center we want to charge this to. Also, this attachment section, this is where you attach your receipt. For any purchase you make, always there's a receipt, okay? And if you do not have any receipts, please check the P card policy. They do have a section in there for you to get a special approval for that. Whatever the approval you receive, please attach here, okay? Otherwise, you will be sent back to you, either by your supervisor. Hopefully your supervisor will know to send it back if there's no receipts to it. Or the finance, the AP staff will send it back to you. All right, and then after you've done all of this, of course, we want to save it after we review everything. Save and close. And it will take us back to this previous screen where we selected the charges. Okay. Oh, let me go back. I forgot to attach something. Let me attach something. Okay, add a file. You can either drag the file to the box, or you can open the link and attach. Okay, now I'm going to save and close. Okay, that's the first transaction. Now we'll still have another transaction we have not processed. Okay, for this one, I want to show you using the Poeta, because some of you, not everybody, but some of you do charge P card for the grant. So I want you to make sure that you understand this is a very crucial and can very easily go to the wrong place if we're not careful. First of all, choose one of the two templates. Of course, has to do either one or two has to do with description. Where does it fall to? Okay, say I'm going to choose project template 1. Of course, we'll get a warning telling us we're switching template. And also I'm going through 1, and now A through M is for me to pop up for me to choose. Say I'm going to charge this as a battery. Okay. Now, this is the Poeta section that I was telling you about. If I had to choose, like I did last time, use just template number 1, template number 2, we only see this one line. But of course, template number 3, template number 4 will bring us the Poeta. You need to, if you are not personally handling grant, you probably do not know what those information mean. So hopefully, if somebody asks you to charge something for the grant, they must provide everything you need to get this correctly charged. Okay. First of all, there's a project number. In this module, it has a good memory. It tracks what you entered the last time. This particular expense now is defaulting to the very last time I used Natalie's sign on to charge something for the P card. Of course, it may be correct, it may not be. Natalie could be handling 5 different grants. So for her to come in here and not thinking, just using the default, and it will be wrong. So definitely check on the information, make sure this is the grant you want to charge it to. Okay, and then of course you can always query and search on it. And again, type first the letter and numbers and do a search. The ones that Natalie's grant start with 1003 something. These are the library grants. By the way, in the project number section, you're gonna have generally 3 letters you will see. You're gonna see C or G or N. C stands for capital project. You're gonna see C100 something. And then for the grants, you're gonna see G100 something. And then lastly, it's the N. That has to do with the VW grants. Most of you probably will not see that. But then if you do use N, you might see a few grants that can populate. All right. Say Natalie wants to change it to, instead of using 37, like we're defaulting, we use 38. Click on OK. Okay, it's changing to 8. Task number generally default to 1, unless your specific grant has different task number, then you need to change it. Okay, the expenditure org is always blank. You must make a selection on that. Okay, we'll click on the drop down button and then click on search. And I know it's a general fund, general government and agency. Click on that, wait until it turns blue, then click on OK. Okay, the contract number, generally it should automatically populate. It will populate based on the project number you have selected. Of course, you can always click on it to make switch if you need to. Okay. All right. And I'm not going to make a search because that is a correct, that's the correct one. Okay. If you, excuse me, if you are not speaking to me, asking the question, please mute your mic. Thank you. Okay, same thing with the funding source. It will populate the one that match with this particular project number. Generally, you do not make a correction. But then whoever give you the information, if you not know for sure, you do need to verify with that person. Okay, now we populated all the segments of the Poeta. But please remember, this line is always defaulting to your salary. And most likely, 99% of the time, your salary default will not be the grant. So if you are using Poeta, you must come here, make changes. Otherwise, the charge will be posted in GL one place and then in the PPM differently. And it will be out of sync and it will be wrong. So be very careful. If you are using Poeta, you must come here to make change the account. Okay. So for sure, it's not a library. It's not the general funding library. It is, let's change it to, okay, let me look at my cheat sheet. Okay, we are going to change it to using the search to pull up the account fund number. It's 8432. But even if I know Oracle won't take it, they still want you to go through the search. Okay, click on the number, the fund number, click on OK. All right, we won't change A, still A department, but the cost center is different. So we're going there, click on the search. Again, if you're not sure which one, we can just do the first few numbers and make it, click on the search. This one, my cheat sheet says it's A2007. It's this one. Click on it. If it's blue, then click on OK. Okay, and then account number, of course, we will not change it because we made a selection up here before, right? Now, before you move away, remember the project segment has been turned on, and that should be matching with the project, the POETA, the first part of POETA, the project number. Okay, the project number is, so here's what I'm talking about. If you click on it, you're going to see C. You only can view first few. To view rest of them, you have to click on the search. Okay, and because this is a grant, so start with G1003. All the grants started with 3 through 9, 330 to 39 are here. Then we can search, okay, which one is the one we're going to use? We're going to use 38. Okay, and then click on OK after everything's populated. Okay, see, if you actually know anything about the grant, you will know that all the fund for grant start with 8. So before you click away, and if you have a POETA showing up here, you should see the count number start with 8. If it's not, that means you have not made that correction. So just warn you again, please pay attention to this, because it's quite possible if this is ignored, the information will be posted in 2 different modules differently and will not be good. It will not be good. Okay, just we're trying to just warn everybody on that because it can be very bad for the finance. Okay, again, attachment section, you can drag file here or you can click on here to add attachment. Okay, after you take a look at everything, looks good, review, everything is fine, then we're just gonna save and close. And then we are going to push it through to submit them. Okay, it says the project requires correction. Let's see. The task isn't active. Okay, I need to pick a different project. So the project's already ended, maybe. Okay, let me switch back to 37 then. Okay, I'm switching to 37, and everything here should have switched automatically. Okay, and I'm always going to go back here and make sure those two match. This needs to be 37. Okay, so far the account information and the POETA information are in sync. So everything looks okay. Let's give it another try. All right, that went away. Okay, so maybe I should stop using 38. Okay, Now, before you can click away, notice that submit button is not light up for you to use, because one more thing, we want to make sure that you have read the travel policy or the PCAR policy. So in the production, we will be loading those two files here. If you never read it, click on it, then you're going to see the files. But say if you read it, you know exactly what you're doing, you must click on this box before this light up for you to submit. Okay, I'm submitting. All right, it will give you a little hint that yes, they were successfully submitted. So you can move on to the next item. Okay, I do want to show you something else with splitting, because sometimes we charge something and it ended up maybe we need to be coded to two different cost centers for one reason or another. Okay, we can click on the box and come here and then create. And of course, it's P-card. And then see this middle section, you have different choices you can use. The split allocation, that's where you can select fund or by project. Project is the Poeta we were just talking about. Okay, I'm going to check the box and then come back. Let's just do a simple one, do a account. It will automatically give you 50-50 split. Okay, of course you can change it. Of course you can add by clicking here, you can add as many as you want, but I don't think we have more than 2 or 3, right? So right now for demonstration, let's just do, say, I'm changing this to 30% to this particular cost center. As soon as I click away from the cell, it will automatically change the next cell for the 70% and make sure the remaining percentage is 0. Okay, we are going to charge something, let's say, just different cost center, but still library. And still A, no change there. But the cost center, click on the search, A420, and then we can pull up whichever one we want. We're going to charge it to Eastgate then. Okay, the account number, you can also switch to different account number. Let's say, okay, search. Oh, I forgot what account number was. Well, anyway, let's just do books. Oh, oh, oh. You know where I put the description. Let's just say, pretend this is a books, we're charging to books and to that cost center. And one last look at everything. Okay, looks fine. Then we'll click on OK. And then click on apply. Okay. And then we'll look at everything. That's it. You will not see the split here. You have to click into the see the split. But then also do not forget we have the add attachment. It will tell you you need to add something here. Okay, attachment, and select the file. I just have one specially made up for the demonstration. Okay, this is testing. Okay, now attachment is here. Now I know everything's fine. I like it, and everything's the way I want to see it. Now click on here so I can submit this expense report. Okay, so that's the P card. All right. Now let's do one for reimbursement for some kind of the one I process most is the mileage. Some people, go pick up something or they travel somewhere. They have to claim the mileage. And this is what you do. You still create expense report. Okay. By the way, do not use this back arrow because it will take you to places where you want to go, which is out of Oracle. So anytime you want to leave any particular screen, look at the right-hand side. Either you see a cancel, or you see a done, or you see a save. Something over here will take you to previous screen. Don't use back arrow, okay? Okay, I want to show you from the beginning. Okay, say if you're on this page and you want to make a request for the reimbursement, click on expense report. And then when you come to the purpose, choose business expense reimbursement. Okay, remember 3 categories only. Now, because there's no existing items from the pick, because I'm the one creating this expense. So I click on this plus sign, says create item. Okay, and then same thing, you can charge this to just generally your account, which means your salary default, the cost center where you work, or you can change it to one of the projects. So make sure you charge to where it's supposed to go. All right. Now, also this mileage is actually the full description is a local mileage. So I know that. So I need to click on the template 1 and then go to type. Local will be all the way down the bottom. Okay, I click on this local mileage. Okay, other things are popping up now. If you want to choose to use the odometer reading, you can, but you still need to provide support what those are. We kind of discourage people for using that because it doesn't really mean much to support what you're trying to say. Mainly we ask you to use MapQuest or Google Map to calculate the mileage. You can continue to do that if that's what you're getting used to. But then don't forget to attach the sheet in here. Just like right now you attach the back of the business expense log. Right now, if you still have that paper, you need to attach them here. But this new feature right now we have, I think it's much easier because it will do that for you. Just use the map. Okay, see the map will come up, and then you just need to type in the 2 locations. Okay, we are leaving from City Hall. Okay, but if you are utilizing this function, this feature, please be very careful how things are described here. Okay, it needs to be very precise. First of all, your address. Don't forget a comma. After the city, you need a comma. After the state, you need a comma. And don't forget, lastly, US. Most of us don't generally type in US, but for this, yes, you do, because Oracle is an international company. So we have to tell them which country we're in. Okay, so that's the first address. The second address, let's see. Okay, Natalie is going to go to Nashville. Let's do Nashville's address. Again, that's street. After the street name, comma. After city, comma. After state, comma. And also zip code, comma. Then US. Okay, after you do the top 2, the third one come up because she has to come back to city. Okay, let's do a third one. See, as I'm typing the address, notice down here, the trip distance is automatically calculated. All right. After we're done, of course, if you have to stop somewhere else, do something else, you can also continue to input the address here. Okay, and then click on apply. Since we're done, 268 miles will show up here. Okay, and then if I just click on the calculate, the reimbursable amount will automatically calculate for me. And we will be maintaining that the rate, the annual mileage rate that IRS publish each year, we will be maintaining that. So all you need to do is just put in address and then click on the calculate, it will be calculated for you. And then of course you need to submit whatever the backup you have, say the meeting agenda or some kind of email from your boss telling you must go to this meeting or whatever, but do support your reimbursement. Okay, without support, nothing will get processed or be sent back to you.
So
Okay.
Eleanor,
Yes.
so if when you finish that one and you want to go to your next one, your next line, you just hit use map again and keep going until you finish.
Um, I think you're talking about, say, if you make 2 stops, right? You go to one place, you can use here. You can add a different address here.
No, I'm talking about what if I went somewhere the next day?
Next day, okay. Uh, this is a local mileage. Local mileage should not have a next day. Next day will be separate expense report. It's one trip. This is per trip.
Oh, this is for a trip.
Yes.
Oh,
Say
okay.
yes. One trip you go and then come back. You can do this. But then
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking that question. That got me thinking because I did process some reimbursement that they just do like 3 miles a day and then 3 miles next day. They just go like in town to pick up something for somebody. For that one, I think you can try to use that. I have not had that multiple trip in multiple months and then they only submit once.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because you called this local mileage, but when you went in to actually do the mileage, it was for out of state. So I'm like the other person who asked the question. If you are going, like generally for us in our department, we only turn in a mileage on a monthly basis. So say for instance, we go to one center one day, we may not go to another center for another couple of days. I need to know, and I think the young lady was asking that too, like how do we do that type of report?
Because the date, because this section doesn't have a start date. So I really don't want you to combine, say, the trip date comprise of several months of data. So I'll ask you to please do one expense report for each. I know it's tedious, but then it does have trip date on it. Okay.
Eleanor, may I ask a question?
Yes. Go ahead.
We have a position that submits mileage for on-site observations on city sites. That's part of his job description. So I don't know if it's technically part of his job description, but it's implied. So what kind of documentation would have to back that up? Like he's a safety inspector, so he inspects city sites basically. And when he's not able to use a city car, he charges local mileage.
Okay, right now, what does he use as support?
He is providing his odometer readings.
Okay.
Well, and the fact that his supervisor is signing off on it.
Do that.
Okay, that's enough.
Yes.
Okay.
Most of the policies have not changed. We're just doing the things in a different way. Of course, this new feature help us to facilitate some of the paperwork, kind of do away with them. But then whatever worked before, it should work now. And just make sure that not employer, but the supervisor's the approval, some kind of email or prior authorization gets attached here. So whoever approved this, know this is done deal. People already approved it. It's okay to process. Okay.
Okay, I have a question.
I'm sorry, can I ask one more thing to end that? Do we have to put the odometer, if he uses the odometer, do we have to put both the odometer and the map, or just the starting and ending location?
We prefer to use map.
Okay, thank you.
Because odometer is kind of hard to inspect actually, right?
Okay.
We allow both, but we strongly discourage odometer and we encourage people to use them for good reason, right? Okay, before I get to the next question, let me just say this. Okay, using the map is one nice feature, but then you don't have to necessarily use it. Okay, you can also enter the trip distance. Okay, because I'm still thinking about the last person's. I couldn't tell who asked that question. That say, you know, people just go around town doing things from maybe 10 trips a month or maybe 10 trips in 3 months. Doing this multiple times seems tedious. I agree. Okay, let's do something else. Let me show you this. Another
Can
way to
I
do
ask?
this thing.
Okay. Can I ask a question before you move on from this?
Uh,
Okay, so my role as a mental health resource specialist, I go to several sites throughout the month. And I guess my question of it is how do I send up support? Because my things that I observe with are confidential.
I have to ask you, what are you doing now to support? As when you make a reimbursement request, what kind of things
We
you are doing?
use the paper and we submit it to our supervisor and she signs off on
You do exactly the same thing. You just
it. Okay.
the paperwork. You instead of hand to somebody else, now you just put it as attachment here.
Okay, so this is done daily.
I'm getting ready to tell you how to do that, how to get around,
Okay.
because I don't like the daily thing. I mean, have 30 expense report out there for one person. No, let's do this. Okay, say we'll back to the screen. We'll create another expense report, and we'll still pick in local mileage. Okay, now instead of click on use map, we can use the trip distance. You can enter, okay, for the past 3 weeks I traveled 54 miles. Okay, and then I click on the calculate. It will still calculate for me, but then now I need to submit all the trip, each individual trip support I have for this 54. You may not want to use this map, maybe different location, this and that may be difficult to maneuver. You can still do the MapQuest or Google Map for each individual trip, and then just PDF them and just submit here. That also works too. Okay.
So will we put like, if we started July 1st and then for the month it ended July 30th, do we change that start date to July 1st and then do the end date as July 30th? Then we can do a PDF for all of our attachments as one attachment and then put our total trip distances for the month there. And that would be another.
Yes, I think that's a very good idea.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. I think we successfully handle all of that. Okay. Let's say I'm adding attachment, like we're saying, okay, this is like all the Google Map stuff, and I'm attaching here, supporting the trip, and also don't forget why you're going there. This is supporting how you do things, but then don't forget support why you have to make this trip. Okay, you can do multiple. You can do multiple of the attachment here. Okay, you can attach twice. Okay, so you can keep attaching stuff here, but make sure you do have a sufficient support for this trip. And after you're done with that, click save, and we'll back to here. Also, another place you can put in attachment is over here. Actually, I think this is a better place for the trip purpose. Okay, because this is, you could have multiple of lines down here, but if this one support support all the individual expense lines down there, then this is a better place to put in that attachment. The individual receipt attached to each expense line should be attached over here. Okay, now see, since we are reimbursing Natalie, it does say employer pays you that dollar amount. Okay, now we know it's electronic, we're like that, and we looked at everything, everything looks fine, so we are going to click on this, said we read everything with no city policy, and we submit it. Okay, we are going to do one more as travel. I know we haven't been traveling last year, but then I'm sure we're going to start do some travel soon. Okay, before I get into travel, of course, travel category, I want to briefly remind you, good time to do a little refresher on travel. Okay, remember the site, GSA site? That's still the place where we get our information on the per diem and also the lodging. Okay, of course, there's a map. You click on the state, and then this is the lodging rate, and this is the per diem rate. Pay attention to the first day and last day. It's not 100%, 75%. And then the lodging for each month, for each city may be different. Pay close attention to that. Also, I want to show everybody this. This is the city travel policy. Under lodging, specifically mentioned that reimbursement is limited to the lesser of your actual single occupancy rate or the CONUS rate. Okay, this is the CONUS rate. Say for Memphis, if you go to Memphis, and right now it's June, the CONUS rate is $123. But if you select a hotel, Westing, $299. Guess what? We have to reimburse you at 200, not 200, 123. So don't run into that kind of issue and say, oh, I didn't know. It gets very difficult to handle after fact. Okay, just be careful. Look at the lodging rate when you book the hotel. However, there is exception. See, however, the conference hotels are reimbursed 100% of actual cost. Say that hotel, that the conference you're attending is actually in that Westin hotel. Even though it's higher than the CONUS rate, that $299 will be reimbursed at 100% because it's conference hotel. But then you need to provide a full conference brochure to specifically state that that is the conference hotel. Or if that conference hotel is full and then the conference sponsor told you specifically, oh, you can use the other 3 hotels, that also can be treated as a conference hotel. That will get you around to the sentence. Okay.
Oh, is there somewhere you code it to let them know that it's a conference?
Coding is all the same. Okay, let me just briefly, I'll go back to the coding side. Okay, I also want to, actually, this is what I want to tell you. Trip. What's the difference between travel and local trip? Not all trips can be called travel. Travel is only the trip that require at least 1 night of a hotel stay away from Chattanooga. All right. If you take a trip to Nashville, like the example we did, for a 2-hour meeting from 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, and Natalie drove there and came back same day, that's considered local mileage or local transportation or local parking. When you are coding that particular expense, do not pick travel, use those lines. Okay. But then if you actually had to stay 1 night in Nashville, okay, if there's a hotel stay involved, then you can, when you are selecting the account, the type in the expense module, go to travel. These are the ones that code specifically to travel and all start with 72. Okay, notice the account number, these all start with 70. These travel all start with 72. Okay, now let's go back to travel here. Okay, we're going to do a travel expense report. We're going to create that one. And then over here, for sure, since this is a travel, we'll know for sure you need to attach something here as a conference brochure or why you go there. That they must have some kind of meeting brochure, meeting agenda, whatever. You must attach that purpose of trip here. Okay, make sure it's attached here. And then down below, that's where you're going to create item. Of course, if you are P card holder, you might have charged your hotel using your P card. Only then you're going to use add existing. Go back to those charges on your P card. Since Natalie doesn't have one for hotel, let's just pretend. Okay, let's just pretend this doesn't say books. This is hotel, like a Holiday Inn or something. Okay, let's just pretend that for the dollar amount, I'm gonna click on OK. Okay, again, pretend this is a hotel. Okay, now I'm going to process that. I'm going to click on the date to bring this up, and then I am going to use, because this is a travel hotel, I am going to use template number 2 because travel is the second one. And then go to the type, scroll down to the cluster of travel we have placed over here. Okay, here we go. See the travel auto rental, travel hotel, meal. These are all travel. So when you're doing travel, you're going to come down here to make your selection. Okay, this one we're going to charge the hotel. Then again, you should not have any personal amount. And then see the default is defaulting to the 721201. That's this account number match with the hotel we just selected. And then also default to her salary cost center. Okay, and then this is where I should be attaching the hotel statement. By the way, the hotel always should give you detailed description, what's been charged, if any taxes on there, this and that, all the information, but that statement needs to be attached here to support this particular charge. Okay, attach the receipts here, code it correctly, and then we'll save and close to get out this particular screen. Now back to the the expense report screen. Okay, of course we have other charges. Okay, let's create another one for the meals. Okay. Okay, again, we're going to use template number 2 and go down to travel, travel meals. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, for month, let me bring this over here. Let's see, she went to, okay, Knoxville for 2 days. First day and the last day is 75%. So it's a $42 times 2, 84. We're gonna switch this back. Go over there. Go over there. No. Okay, go away. All right, I'm back here and it's gonna be $84. And then you still need something to support that, right? So use that per diem sheet showing, I'm afraid to bring this up. It will not go away. Okay. Okay, trying to bring this sheet. Okay, my screen's not listening to me. Okay, PDF this sheet and then attach here. That will be a support for the meal. Okay, and then let's save and close it. And then for travel, we'll always have multiple sheets. Say we have another one, it's registration. Again, in the template number 2, go down to the travel, go to travel, and say, okay, registration fee. And for some reason, she didn't use her P card. She used her personal credit card. She paid on her personal credit card and $125. Attach that receipt here, please. Okay. Every single expense line needs to be supported. Okay, and then we'll click close and save. Now for this trip, minimum we have a hotel stay, we have meal, and we have registration. Okay, of course, depending on the trip, what do? You might have more, but that's how you grab things. Click on add existing to pick the ones using the P card, and the creating items that you use your own personal credit card, and also, mileage. using, if you drive your own car, you need to get reimbursed for that using the create item. Okay, and then make sure you attach things here, add attachment. Okay, and see, I did not attach anything. Right now it's waiting for me to do attaching. Okay, say I'm fine with everything. I like what I see. Okay, one more thing to point out to you. See, here say that payment is electronic, and the employer will pay Natalie $209. And then, but the employer will pay card issuer MasterCard $109 because that one's on P card charge, right? Makes sense. Okay, everything's done, everything's good, and we like everything, so we're gonna click on here, says we read all the policies, so we can submit it. Okay, also we get a message, it has been submitted. Now, we are going to have a lot of expense reports. You're going to have a lot of expense report, and you're going to see a lot of things line up here. One place to see everything easier is click on the see all. This is the format you're going to see. These are all the expense reports submitted by me under Natalie's name. Okay, see, there's the ones that we just submitted with today's date. Okay, and its purpose here. This is for travel. This business expense reimbursement, P card. So this is the reason why we want to only see 3 categories of things, because it make it easier for everybody who have other kind of detail for purpose. With the whole cities, things will get out of hand. Okay, see, these are the ones, the report status tell you it's a pending manager approval. And later on, when manager finish approval, you're going to see it will change to pending expense auditor approval. Expense auditors are the people in finance, AP staff, and accountants. Continue with the old tradition, AP staff will review all purchase cards. And then accountants, each one of us up here will approve all travel and the business expense reimbursement. Okay, and then when that is all finished approval, it will say, it will be processed, and it will say paid because the payment has been processed by AP. Okay, right, so far so good. All right, okay, we do have a notification required. Okay, the Natalie herself is also in the workflow as approving expense report, so this is why it came back to her. We are not going to do anything. Okay, let's log out of Natalie's account because I need to go to Jason's. Natalie's expense report needs to be approved by Jason Sullivan. So let me log in as Jason. I also received permission from Jason to do this. Okay, this is Jason, of course. Now see the bell here, notification. This is all the action required, all the expense report submitted here. I submitted a few before we started our training, just to want to test everything. But these are the ones we just submitted. Okay, you can either do it here, or you can let's do one from here, and then I'll show you a different place where you can prove this. Okay, this one is we can click on the link to view the actual what we're working on. Okay, this is the travel we just did. Okay, it has the travel hotel, has the meal, has registration. And this one, see the card here shows you this is from the P card. Okay, and then you can view, if you click on the view expense report, it actually will take you to the expense report. Okay, let me just show you. See, this is the page where we submitted. You bring it back to here. Okay. Oh. Okay, let's go back in here again. Okay, and then you can either approve or reject. Okay, click on the approve, you will go directly to the next level approval. And reject, click on the reject, the comment box will pop up. You can type in the reason why you don't want, you cannot prove this because, okay, say missing backup or something. You can submit it, and that one is gone because you processed it. Okay, so for this one, okay, we are proving this.
How do you check the codes to make sure the codes are correct if you're approving something?
You can go click into the view expense report, and then you can view everything here, just like while she was preparing it. Click on the date, this link, and then here is the code.
Okay.
Actually,
you.
I was a little too quick. Actually, you should click into here to see. First of all, you want to see if actually receipts have been submitted, or say if this is Poeta, you want to make sure that count has been corrected. It's not defaulting to library. It needs to be defaulting to the Poeta grant account, right? All the things we just went over. And you have to do each one of them. Okay. Where was I?
Now, when we have to approve something now, we get an email from SunTrust. So when we have to approve something with Oracle, will we be getting an email to let us know that approvals are waiting to be
Yes.
worked on?
Yes. This is where we're gonna see. Okay, let me get out of this. See the notification?
Yes.
This notification, this is a Jason's sign on. Okay, Jason Sullivan, once he logs on to his Oracle, he'll get a notification what's they're waiting for him to do. See the action required. This
Yeah.
is this notifying him he needs to prove this, going to each one of them to take a look at them and approve them.
No, my question is, I don't log into Oracle every day. So when I get an email letting me know that
No, you should get a habit of logging to your Oracle, because almost all the transaction going on in the city resides in Oracle. So if anything happened, it's in Oracle.
so we just need to check our Oracle account every day.
Yes, yes. And especially if you know for sure you are in the workflow, the approval, you are one of the approvers, and there are things could be waiting for you over there.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Another place where we can view things is, okay, still in there. There's a show all. Here is the work list. This also show you the things just submitted and you need to work on them. Okay. Another way for you to see this work list is in the the three bars here. You go down to tools and click on the work list. Takes a little time to, and the things waiting assigned to you also there. And you can also switch to anything. See, other things also here too. Okay, so this is Oracle has different ways for you to reach the same destination. Some people like to use this way, that way. I'm just showing you the ones that I've been testing. Okay. All right. Let's just prove one more. Okay. This is the travel. We already did it. Okay. View approval. This. Okay. This is one I was testing earlier. Okay. And I attached the things, and then I was testing rejection. No, I just rejected earlier. No, just moments ago. Okay. Signed, complete. This one's complete. Let's look at this one. Okay, this is when we did a split, 30%, 70%, a dollar amount. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, you can split between account, and also you can split between Poeta. Okay, but you cannot do one of each. You cannot say 30% charging to account and 70% charging to Poeta. You cannot do that. So in the rare incidents where you have to charge something partially for the grant and partially for your department, please check out that charge separately. So you have two charges. That way, make it easier for you to code it, because afterwards you cannot split between account and Poeta. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to mention that a little earlier. Okay, this one, after we look at it, and you can always go into the expense report to look at the details. Right now, I'm just going to prove it to see. Submit. Okay. Generally, there are two levels of approver. One is the immediate supervisor, and then there's another layer could be what they call the cost center approver. I'm not quite familiar with every single department out there who is your next two level, but eventually after this two, it will come to finance, and the finance is CFO pool, which Daisy, Brian, Freda, and Tanikia will approve. After that approval is done, then it comes to the auditor, which means the AP staffs here and also accountants. Okay, after that one is done, complete, we will send it over to the AP, and AP will process the payment. Okay, speaking of payments, let's go back and look at the bank account. Let me log in as Natalie again. Okay, this is Natalie's sign on again. Oh, by the way, see the notification? That's the one that it comes to one rejected, one's required because Natalie herself is also in the workflow. So she's next level of approver. So she can approve that one. But this reject tells her something wrong with it and she needs to fix it. Okay. Now I want to show you mainly on this little wheel here. The second line here says manage bank accounts. Okay. This is where that you can go. I'm not going to show you much of this, but this is, see the notice the plus sign. That's where you can add account, your bank account to this. Say if your account is closed and you need to have another account to replace the old one, so your ACH won't bounce back. You come here, add another one, so the ACH, the reimbursement to you, will go out successfully to you. I just ask you to please be very careful when you enter the bank information, because there will be no verification, because the AP staff does not have that access to the bank. So if it's successfully, correctly entered by you, it will be successfully money credited into your account. If something's wrong, of course, money will bounce back. So for your sake, please be very careful using that function, okay? And of course, if no bank information changed, you don't need to do a thing. The current payroll bank information will be automatically populated here. So everything will be go on as usual. I'm telling you this only because if some people actually between the last paycheck until the next one, that you know for sure that account has been closed, then you need to do something right away. You come here to do it. And I'm only speaking for the reimbursement, not payroll, okay? All right. One last thing I want to show you very briefly has to do with that travel advance authorization. This is travel advance. Just in case someone want to travel, say, this is the one I did earlier. Okay, no. Let me just show you, just do a good one. Request travel advance. We'll just say, okay, $300. And then this is the travel and to travel to Nashville, and then gave a date, Friday, and come back Saturday, and then attach something. Of course, you always still need support why you are going on this trip. Generally, it's the purpose of trip. You attach here. And that's it. You submit it. Okay. If you had processed the travel before, we always request you to input the travel advance you received on the travel expense report to show how much city already paid. But using this module, the travel advance will be automatically attached to your trip using that travel date. So of course, you must get the travel date correct on both sides. So the travel advance will be correctly applied to that particular trip. Okay, and like I said, very few people are using this simply because everybody already have the credit card, easy to use and easy to get reimbursed. Okay, let's see. Travel. Okay, just say remind everybody what we gone through. Okay, first of all, don't forget to switch once you log into your production in July. Don't forget to change to electronic because we're trying to do it with check because the check, things happen to check, just creates problems and more work for everyone. Next item has to do with the purpose line. Please pay close attention to the purpose line. Do not enter anything more than those 3 categories. That will be easier for everyone. And also, very importantly, select the appropriate template, either for the account and Poeta. And when you're using Poeta, please remember to manually correct that account line. So the account line information will match the Poeta information. And of course, if you never charge anything to Grant, good for you. You don't have to worry about the hassle. Okay. And then lastly, be very careful with your bank account information because has to do with your money. So you need to be careful. Okay. After the training, ask you to please go on to the UAT session and do some testing. Just play around, see if you are a P card holder, the charges are already there waiting for you to process. Of course, you won't hurt anything. This is like a sandbox. You can play in there, get yourself familiar with how to click things, where to find things, and also to test that approval process. Make sure when you submit the expense report, you can do it successfully, and also whoever's supposed to approve your things actually got it. Okay, I cannot not test 200-300 people's approving process. So if you test something and you see something's not right, or you think something is not quite as you expected, let me know. There could be something that we need to plug the hole or fill the hole to fix the problem. If any problems we have, we'd like to see it right now in last week of June rather than July. Okay, and also supervisors, get somebody else to submit something to you. Make sure you can see it. Make sure you can successfully approve it and move it on, or reject it. See if anything goes wrong with that. Okay, and now we have some time for questions. Because I just generally go over the things that I think is important, but then your questions always bring other issues out that I may not have thought of before. So let's look at your questions. Here we go. Chats. Let me open the chats to see any questions here. Of course, right now, if you have any questions, you go on and turn on the mic and ask. Okay. Okay. Difficult to hear.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, you have a question?
Yes, I do actually. Do the individuals that would be submitting, say, a mileage request need to attend this training? So say an employee that's, I'm assuming that the individual is putting in the mileage request for their supervisor to then approve. So do they need to attend this training or not?
Yes, they do, because nobody else can do it for them.
Okay, thank you.
The list I gave to gave it to Corinne to send out the invitation come from all the P card holders,
Uh-huh.
and all the people have requested reimbursement during the last 12 months. So
Okay.
for somebody, they did not travel, they didn't receive any reimbursement.
Uh-huh.
Naturally, they were not in the list, but does not mean they never ever will travel or never ever will make a request. But I just don't
Okay.
know who those people are. So if you think
Right.
somebody needs to have this training or they want to know, please
Yes.
invite them to one more time, Friday 9 to 11. That's the last training I will be giving. So ask them to come to listen. And for all of you, if you think that you're not quite sure of something and you want to watch it again, you can come back Friday. There's no limit for the training session. So if you want to come in and, just sit and just turn on this and listen to me or whatever, you can. Because I know, seeing something new for the very first time, not everything click. I need to see it multiple times. So I invite you to come to do this because this has to do with money. Everybody's interested get money right. So I rather you all of you get things right first time and no heartburn afterwards, right?
Yeah. Eleanor, one more note in the
Okay.
invite that was sent out. It was in the middle, and it wasn't sent out by you, but it was
Mhm.
indicated in that invite that there would be 5 sessions. So if there are only going to be 2 sessions, that invitation may need to be fixed.
Oh, no.
Thank
5 sessions means counting started in the second week. Second week,
Oh,
there were 2 sessions second week, and then 3 sessions this week. Okay, and it was pushed out along with all other massive amount of invites because all the rest of the modules all were giving like 8 or 9 sessions of trainings. So I'm sure most people were bombarded with all kinds of invitations and they didn't know what those are. They probably missed this one. That's why I was getting a little nervous yesterday. I mean, last couple of days, seeing the turnout was not as many as I wanted to see. That's why I asked Corinne to send out the second email to notify people, P card holders, you need to come for this because otherwise you won't know what to do with your P card. And while you're using P card, you don't know where to charge this. I mean, correctly code them. So if anybody not sure about the P card and your friends, tell them to come to the Friday. That's the last chance. Okay. All right. If you have any question, go on and ask. Otherwise, I'm going to go over here to look at the chat to see if anything we can answer here.
And
BP,
can you share the link again, the UAT link where we can go to practice?
of course. Okay, let me get to that. Okay, there's a bar. Okay, do this. Go to your okay, click on ePortal. And let me just move this out of the way. Okay, go to ePortal, and one of the tabs says Oracle Cloud. Click on that. You're gonna see this box, like a blue or black box, says acceptance phase, login. Click on that. It will bring you, because right now I'm assigning as Natalie, so automatically you bring to Natalie's sheet. Okay, and you can click on this, and there you go. You'll be logged in. So you just click on that. For the very first time, you may have to sign in with your window ID and password, but afterwards, just one click will take you to the home page. Okay?
I have a
Alright.
question, Eleanor.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, question?
I'm typically the person that I'm at the resources division, and I'm typically the person that all the guys that work out there bring their local expense, their mileage expense logs to me, and I turn them in for approval. So typically we put their employee ID number on there, and I would send all that paperwork in. Can I still do that for them?
Nope.
Well, what about
every single person have account in Oracle. Okay, and every single person will have this Me tab, regardless what they have. Like See, we all have different responsibilities, so we could have like a receivable, GL, payable, all those tabs. Not everybody have that, but minimally they will have this me tab.
Every employee will have access to Oracle to submit their own
Yes,
expenses.
just
Okay.
like when we have open enrollment, everybody should go in there, do their own open enrollment and to look at their W-2. This
Okay.
is exact same thing. So you can no longer handling them for them. So they will have to know how to submit expense report to get their reimbursement.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
I know that not everybody has been invited to this training simply because we don't know who might or who may not do the reimbursement. But definitely telling them about this. And okay, I will show you one more thing about the training material. Where's my slides? Okay. Okay, the training material that I encourage to go download, which is right now in today's meeting invite, there's attachment. That's the training material. Please download that. Keep it somewhere safe. You will need it later on, especially if you don't process one for next 4 or 5 months. You need that training material. So it can walk you through step by step how to create expense report. And it's quite easy to use because it gives you a step telling you what you want to do and also show you the picture of the place where you need to click. Okay, this is just one page of the training material, show you how easy it is to use. So definitely download that training material. And also, like I said, mentioned earlier, that after this week, definitely in July, in the e-portal, where showing the training material and the recording, you should see a recording of one of my training sessions. And so whoever have not have all their questions answered, I ask you to please refer to the training material and also watch the video. And if you've gone through those two, you still don't know the answer to the question you have, then you can email me or email your accountant and we can help you out. But then definitely use those two resources first, because imagine we have, 500, minimum 500 people who could be using this, and I just cannot take, 500 call a day. So utilize the video and utilize the training material first. And then if you still have a question, you can contact me. Okay?
Ms. Eleanor,
Yes?
the executive assistants had, they had delegation to work their administrators, um, P card expenses. So are you saying that they will not have that access anymore to do that?
No. But that is a for the administrators and the deputy administrators. Those folks have a special permission because this is it's a privilege, not assigned to everybody. So for those people, I'm thinking probably we might do a special, very, very short session for those people who will be handling the P card and the
Right,
administrator and the expense report for the administrators. So that
yeah,
one,
that's
yes.
what I'm speaking of, for the administrator and deputy administrator. Will we have access as the delegates to continue to do their process?
Okay, I'm kind of glad you asked that question. Actually, after 4 sessions, you're the first one asking. And I was planning to do a session for this, but right now, just let me show you. Okay, if only the certain individual, okay, first of all, this is still in the work. We're not 100% set in stone yet what to do, but for administrator, if that person delegate the responsibility to you, Again,
Yeah.
this is restricted to very, very few people in the city. Okay, then when you have that responsibility to do that for him or her, you can come back to this owner side and then click on it. See, we assign. See, that's Miss Hill is the administrator for library. So Natalie gets the responsibility to code her P card or expense report, this and that. That's where you go to click onto it. So I'm assigning as Natalie, but then Natalie has the responsibility to do something for Miss Hill. You click into it, and then you go to, you basically accessing her page. That's the P card. See, the P card number is 2265. It's different now. So this is how Natalie go there and process the P card. She does exactly the same thing what we just went through. Okay.
Except you just changed the owner.
Yes. Yes. And
Okay.
this assignment will be assigned by purchasing and by me with a special permission. Once I get, email from somebody, okay, this has been assigned to so and so, and I will enter in. But then when you have the access, this is where you find out who you can do that for. Okay, but then after that, nothing really changed. You just complete it exactly the same way and then submit it exactly the same way, and approval flow will pick it up and approve it accordingly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's come back to the question. Chats. Difficult to hear. Well, I sure hope you can hear me now. Okay, no, just a bit. Okay, okay, okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Natalie. I can hear you fine. Okay, go. Okay. Question. Can you get this to this page from home? Yes. Get this page. Which this page is it? Do you mean the UAT? For if you are working from home, definitely you can get onto current Oracle EBS or the Gmail. I believe you do have to have the VPN logged in. Okay, it's not popping up. I guess this is what I do at home. Okay, something's blocking it from popping up. Okay, right here. If you click on VPN and you put in password in there, and then you should have full access to everything, just like if you are sitting in your office. Okay, so whichever the page you're saying here, you should access if you have it. Click on VPN. Okay. Do we include zip code in the address for the map? Yes, you do. Just remember after zip code, comma. Must have comma there. Otherwise, it will not calculate. I thought that for a while before I realized, before my hash told me I had to do a comma. Okay, so the paper you would usually use to submit mileage, you would now add to the attachment. Yes, you can. You can continue to use, if you're really used to the way you've been handling things, yes, you can. You just need to submit the paper, the map paper, whatever you have, to that attachment. It works just fine. Will anyone that travel fill out the reimbursement for themselves in Oracle? Yes. Right now in this module, you do everything for yourself. Nobody else can do it for you unless you're one of those few individuals like mayor, like administrators and deputy administrators. Otherwise, you do have to come and do everything yourself. Okay? Can only P card users submit local map? No. Everybody, if you have traveled, have made a trip on behalf of this city business, you can get mileage reimbursed. Just to make sure the supervisors are aware of this before, approved it. Okay, several teachers that submit local approval but do not have P card, or you don't need a P card for the local mileage. Each individual employees just need to be logging into here and submit expense report. Will this training be sent to us? Training? You mean this recording? you mean, okay, training material and recording of the training will be uploaded to the e-portal once they figured out what to put it on there. Because I still have one more training to go, so they may not. I don't know which session we're gonna choose to put on there, but one recording will be uploaded, and also the correct training material will be uploaded to the e-portal. For now, again, download that training material from the meeting invite and start using it. Now, okay, training, this is more common, but same way to complicate. Yeah, yes, I do agree with you somewhat, but then, you know, things are changing. We nobody can stop change, and then we do have a good reason for switching from EBS Oracle to the Oracle Cloud, because then we just move in a very fast world. Everything changed, and just imagine our cell phone 20 years ago compared to today's cell phone. You know, it's like basically switch to a little computer. Anyway, after you getting used to it, you're gonna see this is truly paperless. You don't need to worry about certain things you sent out and got missing, and you have to start a paperwork again, and you don't have to walk some emergency travel to City Hall. That will not be happening again. Everything will be on expense module, and just click, 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 and it should be done quickly. Okay. Who do we go to get that permission? I need to do the costs. What okay. Can you specify what is permission? What is this get the permission? I needed to the COS. What's that? Can you clarify for me what you mean? Okay. Do we have any other questions? We have about 5 minutes. Does anybody have any questions you need to ask or you're not sure about? I guess we are all good. Okay. Okay. Well, I just want to thank you again for thank you, Stephen. I'll try, and with so many material, I try to get things correctly in my mind first, and hopefully you truly are clear with what I was showing you. But for sure, I ask you again, please test this and go in there, play around. And if you find any problems right now with the UAT, let me know. Let me know. I do want to find out all the filling the holes. Okay. So if there are no more questions, then I just can say, okay, I gave 5 minutes back to you, so you can go and do whatever you need to. And then again, thank you for giving me 2 hours of your time. All right. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Eleanor. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Good enough.
Mahesh, can you stay on the call with me for a while?
Sure, Eleanor.
Okay, because I have a question for you.
Sure.
Okay,